Hey guys, Lon's been here. I hope you guys are doing good. Still staying safe out there. It's still a little bit crazy out there. Nobody knows what the heck is going on half the time, so just be safe. I encourage you more now than ever to, everyday carry and home defense. I've seen a lot of people who've never been into guns get into guns recently. So, and that is why the market is so hard right now. But heads up, we have new Christmas shirts in. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but if you didn't see this on my Facebook, we have new Christmas shirts in. If you're interested in getting one, just give me a shout out either on the channel or via Facebook or whatever. So just get a hold of me and we'll make it happen. Also, what I wanted to go over today was recently I've been hearing a lot of attack on the Second Amendment. I don't really get into political stuff here. This is opinionated views. And also, it's a slice of reality. It's really what's going on. They, so, this statement's been brought up quite a few times, and I mean, it's ancient. No one's taking your guns away. Nobody's gonna come knocking on your door and strip you your gun rights and everything else. Just like any of your other rights. It's true in a sense, but not really, because they're not gonna blatantly do it. They never blatantly took our First Amendment right. Now we can't say things because it upsets people. We can't say things on Facebook and YouTube, and we can't. There's a lot that we can't do on YouTube, and I'm just a small time channel. There's a lot that we can't do on Facebook because we get kicked off or demonetized or whatever. So most social media platforms, unless they're kind of like through the loopholes, not a major mainstream source of media, there's a lot that you can't talk about and say, because you will be banned, kicked off, removed, and the videos will be taken down so no one else sees them or post or whatever. So you're right, nobody will come and blatantly take those rights away. A lot of times what it is people want safety, and when they beg for safety, they give away their rights. Without getting into a whole political opinion stuff, that's a lot of what's going on in the world today. If you remember correctly, back in April, now this bill came through in January, but it started to pick up momentum in April, right when the pandemic hit. Everybody was going crazy anyway, stockpiling everything. HR 5717 tried to go through. It was a bill that was being pushed by a certain party, and it was picking up a lot of steam for a little bit until the other side of political parties caught on to it and pretty much shut it down. What HR 5717 was, it was a bill. It was a bill to possess a firearm. You had to pass special licensing. To buy ammunition, which would also be taxed 50% more, and ammunition's crazy right now anyway. It'd be taxed 50% more, and you had to have the firearm licensing to buy ammunition. Then on top of that, it was going to ban all semi-automatic weapons, so handguns, rifles, anything semi-automatic. It was going to ban. It basically boiled down to old school break action shotguns, pumps, and bolt action rifles. So they were looking at, high capacity magazine bands, semi-automatic bands, and from everything that I gathered from this, it wasn't a good bill at all. And now, that wasn't them kicking in the door and saying, hey, like, you can't have guns, we're taking all your guns away from you. Pretty close. I mean, they don't do that. They pick. They slowly pick away. And once they've picked a little too much, and people start catching on and like, okay, well, so right, Friday, December 11th. Today is the 13th, Sunday the 13th. Friday on the 11th, the ATF kicked in a door in Nevada, and it was for a company called Polymer 80. And they got hit with, let's see, illegally manufacturing and distributing firearms, failing to pay taxes, shipping guns across state lines, or shipping across state lines, and failure to conduct background investigations on Polymer 80s because they weren't stamped. Because Polymer 80s are not stamped, they're unfinished. So when you have a Polymer 80 frame or lower receiver, depending on if it's for a handgun or if it's for an AR rifle, AR style rifle, or even AKs have them too, unstamped, unfinished receivers. When you have those, they're unfinished, so they go out. They call them ghost guns because they're unmarked. Now, when you order, I mean, most of the people here are probably gun freaks anyway, like I am. But if you don't know, anytime you assemble an AR-15, nothing is marked except for the lower receiver that is stamped with a serial number. If it's Polymer 8, Polymer. Yeah, not all of them are polymer. Some of them are aluminum. Quite a few of them are aluminum, actually. But anyway, when you have this company was called Polymer 80. Alright, I thought I was going crazy there for a second. So when you have an 80% lower, what happens is there's two pinholes that aren't finished being drilled out. That's your trigger pin and your hammer pin. So it's unstamped. They send it to you with all the parts, and the only thing that's serial numbered is that lower receiver. You can contact the ATF and say, I built this weapon, I would like to serial number it. Or I got this lower receiver and I'd like to serial number it. Or a Glock frame or whatever, 1911 frame, whatever it is. So whatever 80% lower that you got that's supposed to be serial numbered, that isn't. But the funny thing is it's not really funny, but not haha funny anyway. You cannot sell those, and you cannot trade them, and anybody caught doing so gets in a lot of trouble. So it's pretty big fine, and I think you lose your gun rights, and yeah, all the fun stuff that comes with illegally dealing with firearms. So it's a pretty big deal. So what ended up happening was the ATF decided that, well, we've known this has been going on for years, and no harm's come from it, honestly. I mean, if you really think about it, no barrel. So I can order everything I need for an AR-15. The only thing that's serialed is the lower receiver. So I get a lower receiver. I buy a lower receiver, order an AR kit, I build it. Now, I mean, me in my head, personally, my personal opinion is I think that they have to keep track of their inventory somehow. So those barrels and trigger kits that you get have to be marked somewhere. But either to the or, they're unserial numbered and this and that. So it doesn't matter what factory it came out of. I mean, so they're calling them ghost guns, right? because the lower receiver doesn't have a stamp, a serial number. I can go buy a lower receiver and build an AR. And I mean, I don't know, just in my head, it's kind of like it's one of those things they call it ghost guns. But when you look at the statistics, ghost guns, for one, you can't sell them and you can't trade them. The only thing you can do is hand them down. For two, they're not used in murders. Most of them, 98% at now. Don't quote me on this because I did not look it up. But like 98% of them just get thrown in a gun cabinet. That's it. That's all they see. They might see some range time. They might get handed down to somebody's kid when they're old enough to use it, obviously. So I don't see what the big deal is about it. The ATF, known about it for years. I mean, this has been going on for as long as I've been building ARs. And, obviously longer, but I've been building guns for quite a few years now. So they're like, oh, yeah, so these 80% lowers that people are buying, it's been going on for years. Now we're just going to start kicking in doors and saying that this is illegal and hitting them with all this stuff. They're not stamped. I mean, technically, they can't, if they're unstamped, they can't call it in, right? I can run a background check on you, but I can't call the FBI and say, yeah, this guy wants to buy this gun. Well, what gun is it? Well, I don't know. It's just like the other 100 guns that we've sold out of here. Looks exactly the same. No serial numbers. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. Like, they are picking at this Second Amendment. And then, on top of that, a few weeks ago, they did a whole segment on attacking pistol braces, AR and AK style pistols. Now it's illegal, or they're pushing, I don't know if it's gone through yet, they're pushing for AKs and ARs pistols to be imported from out of the country, like into the country, from imported from outside of this country into, because of the weight on the front barrel. They said that, so the ATF was totally cool with shouldering certain pistol braces for AR and AK style pistols. Well, I think, yeah. So anyway, they were totally cool with it. Yeah, shoulder it. The CAC shock blade or whatever it is for the AR pistols. Yeah, go ahead, shoulder it. You're good. And then there was a couple other, and because AR style pistols it's always been a back and forth ball game with the ATF of rather you can shoulder it, you can't shoulder it, what length they're supposed to be, that you can shoulder it, what braces you can shoulder, what braces are illegal that qualified as an SBR. It's just insane. It got too much. I ended up just getting rid of mine. Didn't even want to deal with it anymore. I'll go back to a carbine. It's fully legal. There's no questions on it. Nothing. So anyway, so they were attacking AR and AK style pistols. They said that they were too front heavy for you to hold it like a normal pistol. Yeah. Just out of the blue, they're like, yeah, you can't shoulder those anymore. Now it's back to being considered an SBR, which need to be obviously registered and stamped and taxed. So if you can't hold it like a normal pistol, no, you're not supposed to. Well, it's a pistol, but still, if you can't hold it like a normal pistol, because the front weight of the barrel is too much and it tips forward, then we can't import it from outside of the country into this country. They just randomly started to attack that. And it's awfully funny that all these random attacks, this started literally like all this, other than the HR 5717 bill, all this started right around election season. So as soon as that was popping off, the ATF said, well, this is a good time to let's go up in arms about AR style pistols and AK style pistols. And then let's attack pistol braces. And then let's go attack polymer 80, 80% lowers frames. Great idea. So the debate where a lot of people have said that we're not going to lose our rights, we're not going to lose our gun rights, nobody's going to come and take your guns. They don't just come and take your guns. They don't kick in your door. They don't steal your guns. They don't tell you to give them up. What they do is they pass laws. And they pass so many laws that eventually you have nothing left other than the nitty-gritty. That's what it's turning out to be. So, sorry for the rant, guys. I know this is kind of a long episode, longer than normal. I had a lot to talk about. So, but thank you guys for joining the show. Like I said, if you're interested in grabbing some of these Christmas shirts, let me know. This has been Huntsman32. I hope you guys are doing great. I'll see you guys soon. And remember, carry, and support your Second Amendment. That's the only way we're going to keep the rest of our rights. So, have a good day, guys.